Hello, everybody. We're on. Thank you to all the people for waiting, just the 5 minutes. I'm sure people are going to be entering as we go, but welcome. Welcome to the Unity cooking demo with Naomi Nachman for the Shabbos Project 2020. Just a bit of background. First, just a major welcome because I know everybody hates the meeting of Zoom and we're all zoomed out completely, but I love that right now we are connecting to women around the globe. From me sitting in Johannesburg, from Naomi Nachman, hello Naomi, from New York. It's quite amazing. So although I still have post-traumatic stress from homeschooling 5 children on Zoom over the last 4 months, as many of us do, it's an amazing medium. So really welcome. So again, I'm Sipora Pogren from Johannesburg at the Ohr Somayach community. And as everybody knows, the Shabbos Project is usually filled with unbelievable community events and huge gatherings. And this year, the theme of the Shabbat Project 2020 is bringing it home. And there's no other way of bringing it home than with food. And food in Judaism, as we know, is so interconnected. So a little bit about Shabbos and the interconnected of that, because when we were thinking about what can we do as a community to do something for the Shabbos Project, we thought, well, you know, what's really kept us together over this pandemic more than anything? I mean, one of the main things was the food, because even in a 21-day lockdown, one of the most severe lockdowns that was on the globe in South Africa, you know, I was witness as a community leader to seeing that it didn't stop that woman from getting her meals. That new mother, Loaleni, that person who lost that person, the food came in. That food and that comfort and that care came in even in the most crazy of times. That didn't stop that woman from sneaking out to that grocery store, you know, risking getting actually pulled over. That's what was going on here, because we wanted to feed and nourish our family and the community around us. So food connects us. But just back to Shabbos, food and Shabbos are so intricately connected. Shabbos offers us so many mitzvahs, including the 3 meals. So on Shabbos, we are like literally fulfilling mitzvahs by eating. It's quite a special thing. In addition, we have a mitzvah of preparing for the Shabbos. So we do this by having through Oneg Shabbos, through Kavod Shabbos and Oneg Shabbos. And, you know, the Gemara talks about the special guest that comes in. And actually, Rav Pincus has a beautiful thing. He says we should prepare for the Shabbos as if there was a real personality entering our homes. I love this idea. That's why we would dress our best. That's why we make this delicious food. That's why we clean our home so special, or we get help, or whatever we do. It's because who is this special guest? And we know the special guest is this special Shekhinah that comes in at this time on Shabbos. So it's a beautiful story from the Gemara. It talks about how the great rewards of the extra toil and the joyful preparations that we have when we give to the Shabbos preparations. And that we don't give it over to other people. A lot of times we use agents in the Torah. Well, if it's going to take us away from this or that, or especially from our Torah learning, so the great sages would say, no, get a shaliach, get an agent. Not so with the Shabbos preparations. It's an amazing thing. The Gemara in Shabbos 119a describes what many of the Amoraim did in order to prepare for Shabbos. Rava salted the fish. Rav Chizda cut the beets. Rav Safra roasted the meat. And many, many more examples. So this mitzvah of Kavod Shabbos, of honoring the Shabbat, is actually getting involved. And it specifies actually doing it. You gotta mix those potatoes. You gotta roast that meat. You know, and I think a lot of us, especially in South Africa over lockdown, having had less help, and I know a lot of people around the world have, I don't know where you're coming from. Hello in Mexico, La Jolla, you do have some. I don't know what goes on, but we got more involved in our homes. We did this mitzvah, we took it on more seriously, and we were all more in the kitchen and more excited. And that's how I'm going to get to know me. That's how I got to you. One other thing that it also says that's so beautiful is the Arizal. It's written by the Arizal that whoever tastes the food of Shabbos, which is also a mitzvah, amazing, tasting food, you get schar. Tasting the food of Shabbos merits Chaim Elyonim. So we don't have time now to go into the reasoning for these amazing statements, but surely we can see that there's a lot of spiritual significance in our salads and our kugels. It's not just stomp potatoes, correct? Everything we do, we elevate. So that's what we're talking about here. I think everybody has their own special mitzvahs. You can see it. You can see the lady who's running to the blood bank first to donate. You can see those people that have 25 guests in it with ease. And you can see the achdus person, and you can see the kala person who's there, like giving everything to the kala. But I think clearly the honoring and the enjoying of Shabbat is a mitzvah that Naomi Nachman takes very seriously. You can see it. You can see with her excitement and her enthusiasm that you'll enjoy just now. That's her mitzvah. That's her mitzvah par excellence. I'm sure you do lots of others, but it's beautiful, and that's what I connected to when I met her. So tonight, in the zechus of the refuah shalema of Rachel Leah Batya, and all Cholei Yisrael, anybody who's suffering, please God, let us enjoy a fun evening together, preparing for Shabbos with the Shabbos Project 2020, and fulfill these two mitzvahs of Kavod Shabbos, the honoring of the Shabbos, and the delight in the Shabbos, and all these beautiful things that we're going to learn just now. And yeah, thank you for joining and welcome. Just a few questions before we introduce Naomi. Naomi, are you ready?
I'm ready.
She's used to this. She's on show quite a lot, and we're going to hear about that. Naomi, not everybody knows you. I was blessed in a rainstorm in South Africa to say, that's enough. I'm going to cook something else. I'm so bored with my food. I went online and I see this gorgeous, fun, kosher cooking show. And I think, who is this person? And I got the most delicious recipes and I was inspired. 2 weeks later, it was Sukkot. I see this beautiful cookbook. And I say, who's this person again? And it was Naomi's cookbook, which is also divine. And my friend who I went to for Sukkot, she said, she's my friend. I saw her do an amazing cooking show in Jerusalem. And that was the connection. And here we are today. So Naomi enthusiastically, with all that warmth and energy that you have, just said, that sounds great. And so here we are. Thanks.
All right. Am I up?
You are up. I'm gonna click off. Nobody, by the way, on this webinar, I can see nobody. We see nothing. So shaitel, no shaitel, pajamas, whatever, enjoy yourselves because we cannot see you. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat for later. We might take questions at the end. So just enjoy.
And we encourage, before we even start, I encourage questions throughout the cooking process. So Tzipora, you're going to read out any questions. If I need to repeat something, I'm here for you. So hi everyone, I'm Naomi Nachman. Despite the Australian accent, I'm actually American. I've been living in America for 29 years. I even got to vote yesterday. Crazy times over here. I really very passionate about what I do. I wrote 2 cookbooks, Perfect Flavors and Perfect for Pesach, and they will be available at the Kollel bookstore in Johannesburg. I've actually been to South Africa. I was there 2 years ago, and I do a lot of traveling, and South Africa is outside of Sydney because, I'm an Aussie girl, where a lot of South Africans have moved to. I loved Johannesburg, and Cape Town is magnificent. What a beautiful country. I loved everywhere I went, and the people so warm and friendly, and I'm just so happy when my friend Maria reached out, put me in touch with Tzipora, and I was just like, yes, let me do something, and such an honor to do it for the South African Jewish community, who started off the Shabbos Project, to Rebbe Goldstein and your entire team. What a zchut for me to be here with you, sharing my excitement for cooking. So, okay, so I've done I think this is literally my 71st Zoom class since the end of Pesach. I love doing this. I love talking about food. I love talking in general. I have a big Instagram page called @Naomi Nachman. I'd love to follow. I just share everyone about my food ideas and where I travel. Okay, travel's a little bit limited, but I have gotten out of it. But really, I just, I do a lot of work with a lot of kosher food products and promoting, and have a kosher.com. I think that's what Tzipora first saw me. My show Sunny Side Up. I do cooking with guests. I have a radio show on the Nachum Segal Network. I write about food in the Mishpacha magazine. So I just do a lot of stuff involving food. And I love creating new recipes or taking a traditional recipe and making a twist. So let's get started with our cooking, because I know it's Wednesday night for you guys. So I don't want to keep you all night. For me, I've got a long day ahead of me still. Okay. So we're going to do some babka. People are like, oh my God, babka's so hard to make. I'm like, no, it's not. It's super easy. Before we get too into it, I'm going to ask everyone to be chatty as possible, because that way I feel like we're all in the room together. Let me know where you're from. Put it in the chat. I think it'll pipe up, or Tzipora will read it out to me. And I'm going to start the babka. and show you how easy it is to make. This recipe is from my book. So with any dough recipe that you need, what else is made with dough? Can they see in the chat, Zipporah?
Yeah, they can see you perfectly.
Okay, but are they typing things? You'll let me know.
You're just getting lots of I love you, I love you, I love you Instagram.
I love you more, I love you more. Hi from Cape Town. My friend Cindy Marie, I don't know if she's here, but love you. I met her in Cape Town. We became friends through.
Naomi, Jackie Garvin sends love.
Oh, Jackie! Jackie and I met in the right in Cape Town. Okay, so water. Like with any dough mixture, you need 3 things to start off. You need water, sugar, and yeast. Okay, you need those 3 things to start off. I saw somebody just popped up from Beit Shemesh. Hi, my daughter lives in Beit Shemesh. She actually sells my cookbooks. If you want in Beit Shemesh, my daughter has that. I can hook you up. But you need water, sugar, and yeast because you want to prove that the yeast is alive. So we do this proofing method. Any dough, pizza dough, challah dough, pretzel dough, donut dough, all needs this to get started. So you have warm water, you've got sugar, I've got sugar, and I've got vanilla sugar. Do you guys have vanilla sugar in South Africa? Or is it just like an American?
Yeah, it's only American.
Yes?
No, just American.
Okay. Just American. So if you want, you could add like a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So I've got water, sugar, and yeast. Yeast, I'm using dry yeast. Yeast is a live active ingredient. So you want to make sure that 3 things about yeast. You want to make sure that the water is not hotter than 100. And I'm sorry, I'm going to talk in Fahrenheit because I've been converted. I don't know what Celsius is anymore, considering I'm an Aussie. So the water should not be then 110 degrees. You'll have to translate that. Like I say, yad solet more, like for Shabbat, like that. You could put your hand on a blech, or a baby bath, so it shouldn't be expired. It shouldn't have hot water, and you shouldn't add in the salt too early because that will kill your yeast. The salt is actually the last ingredient that we add into our mixture. So here we go, water, sugar, and yeast, and we're looking for like a little bit of bubbles or frothing. So here we are. We've got the frothing around the edges, okay? And now we're going to add in 2 eggs and our oil. So I'm just going to show you a really cool trick. If you bang 2 eggs together, only one will crack. Did you see that? 1. Now the other one, I only need 2. So you just have to do that on the counter. 2. And our oil. Easy, right? We're nearly done with the dough, believe it or not. Give that a light little mix. And we have 4 cups of flour. So we're just going to slowly add it in, mix a little, add more in, mix a little, add more in, mix a little. It's really not hard. If I could do this while I'm talking on a Zoom, you guys can do it at home when you're by yourself. Sorry, we cut out there for a second. People ask me questions on Instagram all the time, and I literally answer every single one. I'll voice note you back if you have any kind of cooking question or food question or just any question. That's how much I like chatting. Okay, so I'm just giving it a mix. I'm moving that out of the way. Now I'm going to add in the salt. See how it's like a little bit mixed? Just going to lower the camera a little bit and hold it up to you. And I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of salt. Okay. Mix. And you'll see just no big machines, no fancy nothing. You just need a bowl, a wooden spoon, and some elbow grease. Elbow. Did you say that in South Africa? Elbow grease? Okay. So I'm just mixing it. I have my flour right here on standby. Now, humidity and temperature definitely plays a role with any dough recipe. Like your summer dough challah is different than your winter dough challah because the atmosphere and the temperature is different, the humidity in the air. So quite warm in my basement kitchen. This is my basement kitchen where I do my Zooms. It's actually double.
Everybody's a bit worried. They don't know the amounts, but I said to everybody in the chat, at the top of the chat, you'll find the recipes.
We've got the recipes. You do not need to take a pen and paper. I'm just showing you how easy it is, and we've got it all for you. I got you covered. But if people do have questions besides that, I don't want to be going fast.
Yeah, there's no rush right now. Remember, ladies, there's 3 things to do. We're getting 3 yummy things to add to bring it home. Literally.
Right. I want to enhance you. And it's like, if you make my food, it's like I'll be in South Africa with you until I get to come. So did you see, like I just put a little bit of flour down. I'm going to just do a recap while I just knead it, gently kneading it. And the way I knead is I put my hands up, palms facing up, and then I roll the dough towards me like that. And with the palm of my hands, I push it away. And I do it again. And then I kind of turn it like 45 degrees. And then I do it, roll it again. And if it's a little bit sticky, you put a little bit more flour. So we did water, sugar, and yeast. We proofed it till we got those foam bubbles. Then we did 2 eggs, 3/4 cup of oil. I'm just saying in any case. Then the 4 cups of flour, mixing it in as you add a little bit of flour at the time. Sometimes I've also just dumped it in. That works too. I'm all about cheating. And then a teaspoon of salt, and then just mix it till it starts to form a dough ball. How easy was that? Babka dough, done. Done. You now can now make babka dough. So you're going to put it in a bowl. You're going to cover it, and you're going to say good night for about 45 minutes. Okay? So we're going to fast track that, don't worry. I'm not going to keep you here all night. So I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to clean up here, and we're going to get on with our next recipe.
Yeah.
Which is going to be the soup. But I wanted to do the dough first, so you would get a nice, I wanted it to start rising. Did anyone get the recipes in advance? Is anyone actually cooking alongside me?
Oh, that would be fun. I can show if anybody is. If anybody wants to join on.
Sorry?
You went. Anybody ready?
Okay. Do we have any questions about anything?
So far, so good.
We're good. Okay, now we're not shy, right? All right, so now we're going to start with our soup. I'm just going to move the bowl a little bit here on the side. Okay.
Just tell us, do you cook gourmet every day, Naomi? I know everybody's asking that question. Do you cook the best meals for your family every meal? Like, are you just always...
Okay, so this is how it goes in my house. This is how it goes. Either there's 0 in the fridge, Mum, there's no food here, the fridge is empty, or there's 7 things for dinner. It all depends. Like tonight, for instance, we're going to eat what I made for the class, and then I'm also recipe testing a turkey recipe I do a lot of recipe testing for Empire Kosher Poultry. So one of the recipes we're actually doing is for something I wrote for them. So if you ever want a good chicken recipe, you can do empirekosher.com/Naomi Nachman. All my recipes are there for chicken. So we'll have turkey for dinner as well, plus the chicken, plus the soup, plus this, like, there's a lot. But other times there's like, last week it's let's get some sushi for dinner because there's nothing to eat in this house. It definitely is like, just like every other mum, I do love to cook and I do love to make dinner a lot. But it all depends what's flying around in my house. But I know I get asked that so many times. But people ask my kids that all the time too. Okay, I'm just going to put that here. Okay, now I have my cutting board, my soup pot. See, everything that you do when you do a cooking class always has to be measured out in front of you. I don't know if you guys can see that, but everything's like laid out, it's nice and easy. Take the pot off. Oh, I need the oil. Okay. So are we ready for the next one? Do we have any more questions? Hi, can you read that out to me? There was a question there about
we have
the dough.
quantities for dough recipe, please.
Okay. So we have the recipes for you, so you don't have to write it down. And we will get that out to you. How are we getting it out to everyone?
So if you look on the chat, if you scroll through the chat, anybody can get it. Anybody can get it.
Okay.
Here's the
recipes.
link.
The recipes actually are from my cookbooks, and if you have my 2 books, and they are available for order from the Kola Bookshop in Johannesburg. So, amazing. Okay, for us, it's now the fall or autumn. Do you say autumn or fall?
I don't even know anymore. I'm confused myself. Having been
right. What?
Somebody
had a problem with one of the chats. They can't see the chat.
Let me ask you.
Okay, so we're coming into our fall, but this soup is really good for any time. It's just so warm and soothing. It's a really like a comfort food, and it's got a few steps, but it is so worth it. Whenever I've done this at a cooking demo for the last 15 years, after I developed this recipe, I use this a lot. You see that you're going to want to make it over and over again. It doubles pretty well, and it freezes amazing. I mean, it doubles amazing also. I don't want to say pretty well. It doubles really well, and it freezes great. That's the beauty about soup. So we're going to start off with the first step is I already did this in advance, but I have here red lentils. I'm assuming that you have them also in South Africa, or split peas and a bay leaf. Okay, so we're going to put 1 cup of lentils, 4 cups of water, a bay leaf, and some salt into a pot. Oh my God, Etty Klein just popped up. Hi, Etty, I love you. I'm sending you a hug. My good friend Etty Klein. Thanks for joining, Etty. Okay, so we're going to put those 4 things: the lentils, the water, the salt, and the bay leaf. The bay leaf just gives it this really earthy flavor. We're going to put it up to boil for 20 minutes, and we're going to shut it off. Ta-da! Here we go. It's all ready. That was 20 minutes. Okay, so I just like to show everyone the raw ingredient of what I used, and I had to make this in advance. Okay, so I've got that sitting on the side. Taking out, I'm removing the bay leaf from there because that does not break down. I'm removing the bay leaf. I'm throwing it out, and I'm leaving the rest of the lentils to sit aside. Okay, now let's get cooking. Oh, phew. Yeah. Sometimes this burner doesn't work, and especially it's so embarrassing when I'm doing a demo, but it did turn on right away. It's a new oven, and this burner gives me a hard time.
Okay, now everybody can get the recipe. It's just there on the chat again. So if you have a problem going on the chat, I don't know what to tell you because it's there, but I can send it out again. You will not miss the recipes. We have them there. It's probably even on the email that if you registered for this event, that you definitely have it on the email. So do not worry, because I'm getting lots of people that can't see the recipe. It's somewhere in your email, and it's definitely on the chat. You'll see it. It says link to recipe. Just scroll through the chat.
Okay, terrific. Thank you so much, Sipho. You're doing an amazing job being my co-host. Okay, so we're going to get some insane flavors and aromatics going. This is like, it like goes through the house. It permeates through the house, this smell. I love it. Okay, we start off, as my grandmother would say, everything good starts off with a fried onion. So, but she used to say that in Yiddish. So we're going to put the onions in the pan. I'm just going to tilt this. You may only see half of me, but you can hear me. And I want you to see what's going on in my pot, because the pot is way more important than my face right now. So we're going to cook this up, and we're just going to get them till they're sweaty. Okay. So I've got garlic on standby, ginger on standby. Now it's always fresh garlic. Always fresh garlic. Quite often I buy whole garlic cloves in a big bag from our. Do you have like Costco's there or something similar?
Macro.
Okay, so I buy like bags of whole peeled garlic. I crush them down myself. So I always have lots of fresh garlic. I never use jarred garlic. And I'm using 3 frozen ginger cubes because You know, ginger's a bit annoying. And sometimes you need it spontaneously for a recipe and then you don't want to run to the store. So like in my pantry / freezer, like staples, I should say, is always ginger. So I have ginger here. And then I've got a beautiful array of spices here in this bowl. It is 2 teaspoons of cumin, a teaspoon of curry powder, and 2 teaspoons of coriander. Just really great flavors. We're actually going to cook those in to the onions in a little bit. Okay? Oh.
By the way, somebody corrected me. There is no comparison to Costco. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but Costco could do really well if they did come out. I have people that are still ordering here from there. Anyway, crazy. So that's a correction. No, we don't have.
Yeah, it's a. I'm sure everyone knows what it is. It's a big like a wholesale.
Yeah, started in Seattle.
Wholesale shopping. Okay, so we've got our garlic. Now, we've got our onions. Now we're going to add in our garlic. And then all the other ingredients. I just want the garlic to have like a minute. Costco is a foodie's Disneyland. You know you got that right. It never gets old. Disneyland never gets old, and nor does Costco. And I go just about every week. Okay, so I'm starting to sweat the onions. The garlic is, I can smell it. It's getting into my freshly washed shaitel. Fantastic. The biggest thing is I get into the car with my friends if we're going out, and they're like, "You smell of onions." I'm like, "Yo, thank you. That's actually a really good compliment."
That's you.
Like, we know you've been cooking today, Naomi. Okay, now I'm adding in the ginger. And now my beautiful spices are getting cooked in early. And what that does is it releases the natural oils that spices have got. Spices have actually got their own essential oils, and we are just going to release those and cook them. And it really deepens the flavor of this soup. I wish you guys could smell this. It doesn't get old, the smell. Like, I made this 1,000 times, and every time it's, If you don't like curry, you can leave it out. If you don't like cumin, you can leave it out. You can interchange them. Like, people have an aversion to curry, you could leave that out and just do the coriander and the cumin. It's just got so much deep flavor without being overwhelming. Okay. So once we've just cooked that and toasted those spices, in goes everything else. Butternut squash. You can use any vegetables you have in the house. This is what I usually use. Butternut squash, carrots, sometimes I have a parsnip, and zucchini.
Yum.
Okay, so I quite like smooth, like creamy soups, or smooth soups, but this one is actually chunky, and it's really good though. What do you guys like? Do you like creamy or chunky? Put in the chat.
Right now it's so boiling hot. We're not
sorry.
We still all eat soup on Shabbos. I think most of us do, but it's so boiling this end. It's boiling.
So I eat soup all year. Chicken soup every Friday night. Like, so what I'm doing is I'm coating the vegetables now. We're just giving it a minute to coat those veggies. Yeah, I like soup all year. Like, it's.
You've got chunky and creamy, mainly creamies.
Yes, we have a matzah Shabbos for dinner. Yeah, me and my girls. Okay, so
does everybody like to cook in your house? Are you the cook? Like, does everybody?
Well, my husband is not the cook. He doesn't like to cook. But the girls do. The girls do.
Cool.
Someone's saying they like Shabbos soup all year round. Oh my gosh. There's even when I see like chicken soup on a menu in a restaurant, I want to try it. But sadly, it's usually consomme and water.
Yeah.
I like a really rich, what do you guys put in your soup? Like what magic ingredient do you guys put in your soup?
Turkey neck.
Hold on 1 second. Oh. Okay, you can leave it in there for now. One of my kids came down and said, "Mum, the turkey buzzer rang." I'm like, "No, it needs another half an hour." Okay. What we just saying? Hold on, I'm just mixing this.
So who cooks in your house? Usually with a cook, either they cook along or they just reject it and they don't know how to cook. They don't know how to cook until they're like, married.
Oh no! My kids can all cook. My oldest is married. She doesn't love to cook. She does it because she has to feed her family. I'm always asked that. Who loves to cook and does it because they enjoy it? And who does it because they have to feed their family? There's Yeah. So raise your hands. Who loves to cook? And who has to cook?
No, that's not me.
You can raise.
It makes people happy. Like I said, my potatoes.
It's good. And some people enjoy food without having to cook it. I love eating at restaurants. Depends on the day. Good answer, Adina. I like that. I would totally say that. Because sometimes I'm like, definitely Corona has changed us all. Like we spent from Purim, a week after Purim, basically, until Shabbat indoors. I did not leave my street, and that's saying a lot. And I just spent the last 6 months before that on a plane every week. So it was definitely challenging. But we came up with great dishes, and we didn't want to spend a lot of money because we didn't know where the economy was going. And, cooking is therapy. I do agree. Baking bread. Did that become a big thing in South Africa, baking bread?
Baking bread. No, there's not so many baking breads. Yeah, sourdough. No, that is a talent. We have to do a sourdough show on its own. I've met one person that makes a fantastic sourdough, but I haven't got it myself. No, it's a hard one.
Okay, so I can, when you're ready for that, I'll give you one of my friends. Okay, so here we have, look how beautiful these colors are, right? Stunning. So now we're going to add in the salt.
Yeah.
Whoa. We're going to add in the, I've just got the pureed lentils. They got a little bit hard because I made them a while ago and they just sat around. So it got like a little bit clumpy, like a puree almost. And now we're going to add in our broth, or 4 cups of water. I'm looking for my measuring cup.
I love cooking for my family. Who doesn't? Who doesn't love cooking for their family? That's just it. But I'm telling you, that's what Rava said. You have to cook it. You can't even just get it. Okay, you can get one thing, but you have to add something in that's just your kishkis putting it in. So many. Most fantastic book, if anybody wants to see. Amazing insights into Shabbos.
Whose book is it?
Baruch Leh. Beautiful insights. Amazing stories. One person was saved. His life was spared. He was the biggest rabbi. And the biggest rabbi of his generation didn't spare him when he went to Beis Din. Shalom Lamala. The heavenly courts didn't spare him. Only his Shabbos preparations. When he finally said, but I prepare for the Shabbos early and I put all my joy and my kishkis in it. They said, 30 more years of life for you. How amazing. Just on that. Not on his other things. Not on his commentary on the Yerushalmi. Amazing stories in here. Just so add to your Shabbos cooking and know what you do. It's fun. So here we have the soup. Look how beautiful it looks. And what we're going to do now is we're going to cover it. And we're going to cook it now for, here's my lid, for another half an hour. We're going to bring it up to the boil. Hold on. Well, that's hot. Now this one has to work. Oh, here we go. All the burners are working today. It's yours. It's for me. Okay, now I'm putting it on the other flame. We're going to boil it. By the end of the class, it should be ready. And the lentils are inside, right? The lentils are mushed in.
Yeah. So again, like if anyone has any questions, remember the recipes are there. We sauteed the onion. We added in that sweat. We added in the garlic, the ginger, those incredible spices. Gave us a deep, rich flavor profile. And then we threw in zucchini and carrots, and you can throw in a parsnip and butternut squash. We then added our water/broth, and we bring it to the boil. We're letting it cook. You can always add in more salt later on. When it does come to the, finish cooking, right before we serve it, I throw in some delicious baby spinach. It has this wilted spinach running through it, some salt, some lemon juice. You can hit it up with some cayenne pepper. It's so good. Okay. That and some like sourdough bread for dinner can just delicious, on those wintry nights. I know you are coming into summer, but on those still Friday night, there's something very special about having soup. Even though I do love Shabbat, chicken soup on Shabbat, there's always an alternative, something else that you might want to make, or just being together with a family for Chagim. This is a great soup to serve on Sukkot or Shabbat. Like, it's just one of those special occasion soups. And always our favorite special occasion every week is Shabbos. I always say this, everything tastes a little bit different on Shabbos. Cholent during the week is called bean stew, okay? It is not cholent on Sunday night. It's bean stew. Cholent is just reserved for Shabbos, I don't know if you guys feel that way about it, but I'm very, Okay, should we move on to our next recipe? Chicken. I'm going to bring over my giant frying pan.
A question that's important, is it always advisable that you put the spices when you're frying the onion, or you put it afterwards with the soup? You put the spices...
onion first and then throw in the spices. Did I answer the question right?
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So
here, look, I'm just going behind the scenes. So when I prepare 3 recipes, I've got everything kind of like lined up here. Each one is pre-measured, and I just bring it over from the other side of the kitchen. I lay it out in front of me. So it's to the side. We've got the onions. Here we go. Are you ready? Okay. All right. This recipe starts off with a little beer. You can use any beer that you have. I recommend a stout beer because it's just richer in flavor. And an extra step to add a little bit of extra flavor is put the chicken into a pan or a big bowl the night before you want to make it, and let it brine and soak in the beer overnight. It is fabulous, but sometimes, we're talking about a good shortcut. You can just leave it out also. I've kind of taken that out for today, but you totally will get an amazing flavor. It's just a little bit richer if you have pre-soaked. If you have pre-soaked the chicken in the beer. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sauce chicken with 3 spices, but we can use any spice profile you like. I'm just going with traditional paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and salt. Okay, so just a little salt. I've got my spices. I'm just going to mix it a little. And I'm just going to season it really well. I'm actually going to put some oil seasoning because I want the oil. I'm using a big fry pan here. There any? Don't be shy.
If you don't want to use alcoholic things, what else can you use?
I've used white wine or broth.
So broth instead, if you don't want to use alcohol.
Chicken
okay.
Broth. Yeah. If you don't want beer, you can use wine. If you don't want any alcohol, broth. I've done it. It's great.
Yum.
I'm seasoning it really well.
Naomi, is it easier if you see me or you don't see me? I don't want to distract you.
No, I love to see your face.
Okay.
It's always hard to say. It's always nicer with an audience, you know.
That's what I'm thinking. It's different on a webinar because you can't see anyone, but we're all there.
Right. I love to see everyone's beautiful faces, so I'm going to see your beautiful face.
Okay, good. I'll keep it on.
Okay. I have my tongs. Look, red for flashing. Okay. You can get non-alcoholic beer. Yes, you can. I've actually done it with that Israeli Maccabi beer. I've used that also sometimes. I'm having like a little Israeli, like my collet down the road from my house. And when I don't have any beer, I'll run there and grab something. Okay. I'm just getting that nice and hot. I want my oil really hot, and I want to sear that chicken, give it a nice color. Okay. How are we going with that chat? We're checking in on the chat, making sure everyone's happy.
Can you use breasts or only thighs, or it doesn't matter?
Oh, you can use breasts. You can use the breasts without the wings. I think it'll be hard to sear. But you could have never done it with this particular technique, cooking it. But there's no reason why you can't. We happen to love bottoms, so I wrote this recipe for bottoms, but no problem. And that Empire Kosher website I was telling you about has tons of recipes that I wrote for whole chicken, for turkey, chicken meatballs, like all kinds of, and you can, use it. It's a really great guide.
Okay, amazing.
As well as the recipes in my box.
Which one? David Aronovitz is working on that. The South Africans will know. When you want it, just tell me, and we're doing an order.
A special order for you guys. Also, my Pesach book, people use the recipes all year, which I'm really excited about. I love when people tell me that. Okay, chicken is hot, seasoned on one side, skin side down.
Wait, we got to see it. We can't see the thing.
Okay, whoops, I'm going to lower it.
Awesome, perfect.
You see it a little bit again. You hear that sizzle? Nothing better than that sound. So you can see this is quite a large frying pan. And it's fitting 6 nice pieces. You probably could get 8 in here as well. A little snug, but now we have 6. And I'm just going to season the other side a little. This is really bothering me that you can see the handle. There you go. Hold on. Okay. I have to check on something in the oven that I wanted to show you for after. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to give that a quick sear. Oh. We have our beautiful, fancy casserole dish waiting on the side. We really need some color, so we're going to be patient. We're going to give it some color. Well, it does. Okay, should we open up to any questions that you might have?
Anybody else? Let's see.
About chicken, about food. Because, it's not that exciting to watch chicken just.
Okay, here's one from the question. If you marinate or soak chicken meat, don't you have to pat dry before browning?
So that is your question. So I did not do it just because I didn't do the cook for this fast. But I'm glad you brought that up because I did actually need to say it. So when you've marinated in the beer overnight, or throw that beer in the garbage because it's had raw meat on it. So that goes, you need 2 beers if you do that. So that's why I wanted to give the option also just to not have it because some people don't want to waste beer on cooking, and then want to, So you take it out of the beer, throw out the beer, pat it dry, give it 5-10 minutes to come to room temperature, and then continue with the rest of the process.
Okay.
Okay, there's a question there I think that popped up.
Yeah, it's very interesting. When did you actually start cooking? What made you want to start to decide to share your skills with the world? And when did you decide to go global on the internet and, with
Okay,
Instagram?
so I started cooking when I got married, and then I have a degree in education, so I taught for many years. And then I went into informal Jewish education. I worked in camps, I ran after-school programs for kids. I'm lowering the heat on the soup. And then I was asked to teach, because I was always into food, and I would make these crazy Shabbos meals with a lot of guests and a lot of food. And I had this neighbor in my building when we lived in Manhattan that she taught me how to make sushi before sushi became a big thing. So then when they ran a Kira event where the school that I used to JCC, they ran this amazing event, and they're like, Naomi, I was teaching in the school, working in the informal Jewish education, and like, teach a sushi class. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, I can teach. I know sushi, let's do it. And that really started me. So, and then when Instagram came along, I kind of went without it. First Facebook, then Instagram, but I also have a radio show on Nachman Network. I used to write for the newspapers. So that kind of, I always use those tools to use to promote my business. So we used to live in Long Island, Manhattan. We moved to Long Island. And when we moved here, I didn't want to teach anymore, even informal Jewish education. I decided I'm going to start a personal chef business. Before it was a thing, like there weren't kosher personal chefs. So I did a lot of research, and I kind of like made an announcement, like put it in a newspaper, or, there was no social media when I started. And it kind of, all those magazine writings, the radio shows, always just a way for me to promote my catering business. But that kind of put the catering aside. I only do Pesach and Rosh Hashanah. And then the rest I just do promotion on Instagram, and the rest is history in terms of that. But
you still cook for people. You still will cook on the Chagim. You'll cook for people.
Yeah, so I still cook. I'm just going to lower the camera so you can see what I'm doing to the chicken. I still cook for people. This actually, you're in my Pesach kitchen. I still cook for people for Tishrei and for Rosh and for Pesach. It's Pesach season for me. Like, the minute I got to get myself organized for Pesach already. Taking my orders. I think Pesach will be different again this year.
Oh.
And then I work on a Pesach hotel. The last 5 years, I've been working on different programs.
Oh,
okay, so now we've got this really great color. We're going to see the other side. I also do cooking competitions. I've literally been all over the world doing cooking competitions and cooking demos. I wrote the book. I was on book tour when Corona hit, so I missed my last few book meetups. And then I go with Miriam Schreiber, a woman from Chicago, and she takes me on her tours around the world. Asia. I've been all over Asia, India, with her, Panama, and to do and traveling. So I also love to travel. So my family's done a lot of traveling, including South Africa.
So what's the best exotic food you loved? Is it the Indian thing? Is it the Italian thing?
I'm not just saying it. I'm not just saying because I'm on with you guys. I was in Cape Town and I had babuti.
Oh, where did you get kosher babuti?
I had it at the Jewish Museum in Cape Town.
Oh, amazing.
Right, Cindy Maritz was with me. I don't know if she's on this now. And I can't remember the guy who drove me around for the day, a wonderful Jewish guy who took me around for the day. I cannot for the life of me remember his name. I'm embarrassed, but I can't, but he was wonderful. We spent Shabbat with rabbis and Penny Hecht.
Mm-hmm.
We spent Shabbat at their house. We stayed across the street at a hotel. It was amazing. Cape Town was one of my favorite places, but I had babuti. I love Indian food. Love the flavor profile of Indian food. I love Mediterranean food. I just love food.
Yeah.
I don't eat rice.
But that tadig, you eat tadig, because I saw your show. That was the most delicious rice. I'm dying to know how to make that.
Yeah.
That Persian rice, you can't get that here.
Somebody just said that. Cafe Royti, whoever just wrote that last comment where I ate the babuti.
Cafe Ritvi.
Yeah, amazing. You're still in my memory from 2 years ago. All right, let's continue. We're taking out the chicken and we're just leaving it on the side in the same pan. It's fine. because we're going to cook it again in the same pan. We're now going to add you can pour off a little bit of the oil if you want, but that's just the chicken oil. I only use very little oil to see the chicken. This is its own chicken juices. Okay, so now we're going to cook the onions. Ow. Cook that onion. Leave that aside.
Clearly the banting thing and the gluten-free we're not into. This is not our direction.
The what?
What do you think of the whole new movement, the banting, the gluten-free movement?
What's banting? What's banting?
The people there, I know there's a number of La Jolla, like hello mommy, hello people online, like where they have like raw food Shabbos and this kind of thing. The banting, the gluten-free, the raw food thing. It can come into Shabbos.
I did a demo in La Jolla this time last year.
But a lot of them are on today.
Hi La Jolla. Hi guys. Did you come to my demo? It was through the main shul, Rabbi Wogelender shul. So I personally I don't need to be gluten free. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't make me sick. You know, I watch what I eat in any case because you know I love bread, but I don't eat so much of it for waistline. I don't know. I like all the food groups, so I don't really do carb free because you know I can eat gluten. So you know I just yeah, I didn't jump on any food bandwagon.
That's my show. We love you. They are that.
Oh, you just thank you. I want to come back. Chicken fat is unhealthy. Okay. Yes, you can definitely pour some of this out, but this is really the juice with a little bit of chicken fat that came out from the chicken. That you can definitely drain this off. I don't promote myself as a healthy cook. I do though, like eat. I do overall eat healthy. Yeah. But I'm not a dietitian. No. And I don't eat the whole pan of it. You know, I have one piece and I peel off the skin, you know. Or sometimes I eat the skin because I love it. But one piece, you know. Okay, so here we go. Let's finish this off. Garlic. 1 more minute on garlic. I do a lot of meat. I do a lot of proteins and salads. I don't do a lot of carbs in general, just because I don't like grains and I don't love pasta unless you make it from scratch.
I love this last comment. So, this is what I wanted to say. Love your cooking. Yay for eating everything. And I say the same thing. That's what I've loved about you immediately. You just love your food. You enjoy everything.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. So now we're going to add in 1 bottle of beer. Two tablespoons of Dijon mustard. Yum. And 1/4 cup of maple syrup.
Yum.
Smells insane. So what we're going to do now, we're going to bring that to the boil. And this is one thing I want to say about this recipe is I put the chicken back in. Well, you can hear me while I talk. It's sometimes your oven needs real estate space is very hard Erev Shabbos, so Erev Yom Tov, right? You've got kugels in there, you've got your vegetables, you've got stuff, and then, or your roast, and like you still got to cook your chicken, but the oven's full, you may not have a set. So this is great because you can make this on top of the oven, you know?
So a lot of people, we can't get kosher maple syrup. We can only get like in South Africa, you get like the fake maple syrup. So what could you replace it with?
Honey? Maybe a little honey. Okay. You can't, isn't all maple syrup kosher?
We're going to look into that. I don't know. I think I've asked them. I don't know why. Like 100% organic maple syrup. It's worth the question, probably. But.
Right. Like if it's 100% I was told, I mean, I only buy it with a hechsher, but I was told that it's one of those things like extra virgin olive oil doesn't need a hechsher because it's extra virgin olive oil.
I'm actually going to check it out.
That is food for thought. We need to ask our rabbis. I am not a rabbi. I just play one on Zoom. No, just joking. I'm not a rabbi, so everyone should definitely ask your LOR, right? Local LOR? Local
Orthodox rabbi.
Local Orthodox rabbi. Thank you. Okay. So, ladies, what we're going to do now is we're going to cover this with a piece of foil. And we are going to, I'm looking for my foil. And I'm going to cook this for an hour and a half. But I have a finished one for you. Then we're going to finish our babka and our soup and then we'll say Lila Tov. Okay, so let me just show you what this looks like. Finished. Okay, so you know, I'm just going to leave it in there for a minute. That's what I'm looking for. Give me 1 second. I'm like right down here. Hey guys. I put it in the oven to heat up because I'd made it yesterday. And then of course, you know, let me get a nice, you know, I'm gonna show it to you at the end of the class. All right, I'm gonna show it to you at the end of the class. We'll do everything there. Okay, we'll do all the plating for all the things there. Okay, soup is going nicely. Have a peek at the soup. Chicken is here. Soup is there. Okay, let's finish up. Let's make our babka.
Yeah.
This part is really quick and easy. Well, you know. In this bowl, I'm adding, this is the filling, chocolate filling, oil, cocoa powder, sugar, confectionery sugar, and some very hot water.
Confectionery sugar is icing sugar here, just for everyone.
What?
Icing sugar. That's what they call it here. They don't call it confection.
Oh, yeah, icing sugar. I call icing sugar too in Australia.
Great.
I'm just going to add a little bit of hot water into it. You'll have the recipe. We're just going to mix that. And this chocolate filling. I'm going to lower this chicken recipe because it's boiling. Boiling like mad. And you use it like a rubber spatula. That way you can get all the you know, nooks and crannies in the bowl. All from the sides. So it's like a, yeah. Okay. We're setting that aside. Now we're doing our crumb topping. Flour, icing sugar, and oil. And what I do is, don't laugh, I use my hands because I want to pinch it. See how I'm pinching it? If I mix it too much, I won't get crumbs. Does the chicken remain on the stovetop? Yes, it does. Saving your oven real estate. You can actually put it in the oven rather than, like, you know how you take your chicken out, we left it aside and then we fried the onions. So what you could then do is take the fried onions, put it into a casserole dish, then put the chicken in, and then and then bake it. And the onions that would have the sauce in it, right? You know that. So now I've done this, and now I have these crumbs, you see? And that will go on top. We good, guys?
Yum.
Now we've hit our hour mark, so I'm going to try not to keep you for too long. Can I have like 30 seconds to grab something?
Actually, it's only 8. It's only 8:30 here. It's actually, we're okay with time.
Okay, great. So can I just have 30 seconds? Sipara, you talk for a second.
Okay. Who's there? Any questions out there? It's so fun. I wish I can see where you guys are coming from. I just know because some of the people wrote to me saying that they're coming. What else can I tell you? Oh, I can tell you that to the Ohr Somayach community, which a lot of people are there, is this was originally supposed to be a launch for a cookbook. So I hope this inspires you. Naomi even said she's going to add to our cookbook, which is really exciting. She said she's going to give us a few recipes. And it's really celebrating community. And I know a lot of people have been through the doors of Ohr Somayach, so it's kind of community-wide. There you go. That was just a plug for, Naomi, you got to inspire me in doing a community recipe book or for Ohr Somayach. I think it's crazy.
Oh, let me know. I'll give you one. I'll give you a recipe.
So we're just starting, but I just thought that's the thing to do. How else are we connected if it's not through food during such a time? So
exactly. So now I'm flouring my counter, and I'm going to take, I want to make a big, go all the way across. Now what I do, flour's already on standby. I'm taking my dough, I'm actually splitting it in half. And this is what I do. My book originally calls for dividing it into 3 and making 3 smaller pans. But I found, since I've made this now 1,000 times, since the book came out 2 years ago, I put half aside. I freeze this half after the second rise, and then I'm ready to go with another vodka anytime. I don't even have to make the dough again, okay? I think that I'm just checking on the soup there, make sure the flame is still on. So I now have one to use now and one to go in a Ziploc bag later. Babka dough, because if you're not making pizza dough, and then like get babka dough, it's like not so good. So here we go. Got your rolling pin, and I'm just I want to make sure you guys can see this. Oh, this is in the way. Okay, you know what? You're not sitting. I don't need to cook this now. Hold on. Just move this to the other side of the kitchen. I want you to be able to see what's going on here. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put a little flour on this rolling pin. Okay. And I'm just rolling it as thin as we can.
Oh, frozen dough. It's always an issue. Like, any tips on frozen dough? That's what everybody
just
says.
Leave it out on the counter and let frost overnight.
That's it. Perfect.
That's what I do. Or in the fridge for like 24 hours. And I'm just rolling it out. Whoops. The thinner, the better. See what I'm doing? I'm just spending the time. A little bit of pressure from your body makes it easy to roll out. Use the force of your own weight.
Oh, somebody asked about if you know about alcohol. An interesting question. In the cooking process, is the alcohol removed as it cooks? Yeah, that's yes. That's a yes.
Yeah, yeah, an emphatic yes.
Great.
Okay. Just trying to get it as thin as I can, because the thinner you get, the more layers of chocolate.
Yummy. Reminds me of that place in the shuk. That thick. What is that place in the shuk?
Marzipan.
Yeah, that's it. I never know how to do that. It looks very similar.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've got their own special. I've actually done some work with them. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Somebody's thanking you and hoping that Ellie is very happy in Israel. I assume Ellie's yours.
Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you. Ellie's doing okay, you know. it was rough to go straight from, you know, here to lockdown to a quarantine hotel. Then 4 days later, she had to go to the whole country went into lockdown. So she definitely had her challenges, and she started university, Hebrew U, last week. So
Amazing.
Baruch Hashem, thank you so much for asking. She's got her own little Instagram, Ellie's Eliyah, like a play on Aliyah.
Beautiful.
2 daughters living in Israel. I had a grandson born. Have not yet met. If anyone has connections, get me into Israel to see my grandson. That would be great, because they're giving me a very hard time.
Oh, I have somebody for you. She just left today, my next door neighbor. Baruch Hashem, she got out. She should be well. Dr. Sue. Dr. Sue went on the grandparent clause.
Yeah, but I can't go because my baby was born in June before they had the grandparents clause. I fell between the cracks, and nobody will listen to me.
Oh.
They don't want to hear it. I'm like, but it happened during Corona, and I couldn't leave with my 12-year-old behind for a month.
Right. Very hard. Weird times.
Okay, look at this beautiful chocolatey.
Yum.
You know what? This never gets old, guys. This never gets old. Okay, so what I want to do for the first time is an experiment. Is I want to put in sprinkles.
Yum.
I love crunch and texture of sprinkles on my cupcakes. So I'm like, you know what? Next time I make babka, I'm going to do it. And then I realized, oh, I've got you guys. All right. So now we're going to roll it up. So the first fold, here's the first fold. And we're just going to go in each direction, okay? Roll, lift and pull it. Have I made this process easy for people to make babka? I'd love to know your thoughts, guys. And I'd love to hear from you. Because I really want to get people making like their own stuff.
Anybody, they can message me if they really want to ask you a question live. I could.
Yeah, I'm always happy to chat with people. If you're on Instagram, I'm easy to find. You can always Google me. Or you can reach out to Tzipora.
Yeah. If there's somebody, oh, I've got hands. Okay, I'm going to ask, can I allow some people to talk?
Oh, please. I'm just going to see what I'm doing. I'm just rolling it back and forth.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, go.
And then mute yourselves.
Okay, so hold on 1 second. Let me just concentrate on this for 1 sec.
Okay.
Let me get my pan here. Let me just finish this, and then we're going to stop for questions. And just now at the end, I'm scared it'll go all over the counter, so I'm just like bringing it forward. Now, I twist it. See,
that's novel. I've never seen anyone do that, actually. For me, that's a win to see.
Okay, and now we put it into our pan. I'm like, and then I'm going to take my knife, wherever I put it last. Here we go. I'm actually using a serrated knife, and I'm going to, can you guys see what I'm about to do? I'm cutting into it. Just making a little cut. And it'll open up when it cooks, it'll open up and like burst out chocolate, which is what we want. The crumb topping makes a lot. This will make enough for like 8 babkas. So I just keep it in the freezer, and every time I need, I've got it there. And I've even thrown it on challah. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, now we're going to bake it. Okay. So let me throw that in the oven, and then we can talk. Give me 1 second. Okay, questions. I'm ready for questions while I plate up the chicken.
Is anybody there?
Hi, Maria.
Hi. Oh my gosh, this is amazing, Naomi.
My
Can I
pleasure.
just I just want to say you made babka look so easy. I've never attempted it before. And what I love is that it's just like, nothing's perfect. Everything's just, good enough. And it takes away the anxiety that it has to be,
Right.
perfect.
Babka's really easy to make. The dough is easy. If you're neat, it'll be a little bit neater. You can see I'm messy and it's a little messy, but when it comes out of the oven, it looks perfect.
Yeah, I'm messy, so I'm happy that you've made it messy.
Okay, good.
And thank you. It's just amazing, so delicious. And I'm so happy you're doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the
Thank you,
opportunity.
Maria. Yeah, thank you for
And
having the
one more
cookbook.
thing- One more thing, Mazel Tov on your grandson.
Thank you.
And I did have one question. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I've lived also in many different countries, as you know. England, Israel, America, and now South Africa. And I find that in some places, particularly Israel, the chickens are so salty from the salt process. Do you always put salt on?
I always add in a little bit salt, but I taste it first, season to taste, because every country will do something different. Coca-Cola tastes different from different parts of the country because the water is different.
Oh, okay.
Different parts of the world. So Coke in London, my husband and I felt that it tasted different than the Coke in New York. Yeah. So I think it's the country that you're in and the environment that you're in, the food will taste a little different, including how they salt their chicken.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Thanks. Got it. I'll give someone else a chance. Mwah. Miss you.
We'll talk soon.
Anybody else? You just have to unmute yourselves now. You're allowed to. The people that are just Judy, Lynette, Nadine.
I'm going to start plating the chicken. I'm right next to you here, but my plates are right next to the camera. So I'm off camera for a second.
Okay.
Whoa.
You spend so much time in the kitchen. It's amazing. And I honestly believe you just bring it out most of the joy in it. It's like a whole new level of cooking.
This Zoom room that I made this Pesach kitchen 2 years ago. This is my happy place.
Yeah, hear that.
And when I was busy being sad in Corona that I was away from my parents, we're in Australia and Australia's closed for like 2 years. And being separated from my kids in Israel, like I would just come down here and I'd have my Zoom classes. I would just create dishes and just be down. It's like a happy place for me.
Yeah, we all have to find those happy places, whether it's the kitchen, I don't know, the gym, the little walk, whatever. It's a trick.
This is the chicken, and serve it with some onions on top.
Yum.
This is it. This is from the pan. I'd made this a little bit earlier. You can serve it in a nice oven to tableware dish, or your casserole dish that you're going to cook it in. Just serve it with some onions on top. It's delicious. It like melts in your mouth. So that is the chicken. Do we have any more questions?
Let's just scroll down.
Guys, where are you all from?
Yeah.
We have Johannesburg, Cape Town, La Jolla.
Can't tell. You can speak, or you feel free to ask to speak. Go into your chat if you want to.
Here's the soup.
Oh, yum.
It's been boiling for like 45 minutes at this point. All the vegetables are soft. Can you guys see what I'm doing here? I'm just going to fold in some we have in our supermarkets like freshly clean and checked vegetables. So this is some baby spinach, and I'm just dumping it in, and I'm looking for here we go. Anything I've turned this place upside down, and I'm just it's gonna melt these spinach leaves. Look, already it's just melting in. Look at this gorgeous color this is. A little hit of lemon juice right before you serve it, cayenne pepper, salt to taste. Look at that spinach. So healthy, right?
Yeah.
Way to sneak some spinach into your family's diet.
Judy or Lynette, do you want to say anything? Only because your hands are raised. Please feel free. You just have to unmute.
I'm taking a picture of this.
That's gorgeous with the colors. And you just leave it chunky.
And I leave it chunky. And I don't usually like chunky soup. But this is fabulous. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
We're ready for Shabbos. We're ready for Shabbos.
My babka's in the oven. If you guys want to, I'll send a picture and I'll put on my Instagram in a little bit, or I'll send it to Tipor and she can post it.
I'll definitely post it. Naomi, you have totally inspired our Shabbos and our Yom Tov and whatever else. And anybody who wants to find Naomi, there's lots of different ways. We'll send out an email. But now we've just had like the best, funnest hour. It was just so fun. That's not fun.
Thank you very much. This has been phenomenal. I hope that this will inspire you to cook some really delicious recipes for weeknights, especially for Shabbat. I've great stuff in my books. I'm always happy to help answer questions to inspire. You inspire me too. I want to learn how to make milk tarts, milky tart.
Well, we don't. That one, I think.
I had that at Auntie's.
That sounds delicious. So everybody's saying thank you from all over. Great demo. Great to have new recipes. Yummy. It looks so delicious. This is so good. So much fun. Gorgeous evening. Thanks, Sip was gorgeous. Really is a fun night. We should all just enjoy our food and our family and these fun times. This is it.
Amen.
Thank you.
Okay, bye everyone. Is it too soon to say Shabbat Shalom?
No, it's not. It's definitely Shabbat Shalom here time.
After Tuesday, you can start saying Shabbat Shalom.
That's right. So we're there. We're there. Enjoy your day.
Wednesday after Chatzot, we say Shabbat Shalom. Okay.
Thank you for being part of this. Really. Lots of love.
All right. Bye guys.
Have a good night.